Sports.
Welcome back to Bite Size Sports. This is another mock draft. This time we're in a 12-team league. We got pick number 6. We do things a little differently this time. You know, I've been preaching, as have many, that you should be heavy on the running backs. And look at this bot lobby. They understand the good word. But this time we're going wide receiver first to see what kind of build we can put together. A Wentz Cup there. A lot of people might want to go Justin Jefferson. I won't be against that if you go that route. Devontae Adams over Jamar Chase. We went with Aaron Jones for our second round pick. I must implore you, if you go wide receiver in the first round, you had better get you a running back in the second round. Are you going RB0 technique? Is that what we're trying for? Looking at the options, I am guessing we're going to end up with Keenan Allen here. I would avoid Zeke in this situation. I don't think you're going to have a bad day if you go the Cam Akers route. We went Keenan Allen, so we're looking good here. Couple of top-tier receivers, a running back that I think you can trust, but we're going to be looking for 2 more running backs here in these next 2 rounds. I mean, Michael Pittman, that's a hard one for me to turn away from. You know how much I love Michael Pittman as a guy who had him on the rise last year for my fantasy team, but also as a Colts fan, expecting big things. We went with Antonio Gibson here. If we were redoing that draft today, I don't think that's the pick that I'm taking. Let's run it back. Josh Jacobs. A lot of rumors have been swirling. I saw he went right in front of us, whether or not he's going to be the starter. J.K. Dobbins is someone that I hope to see a big turnaround after the injury last year. I think he's got all the potential in the world. Elijah Mitchell is who we went with in this mock, and I do believe that he's going to have a great season. So at this point, if I could swap out Gibson for someone else, I'd be feeling very good about this team. But again, this draft was filled out August the 14th, so the information was a little different at the time, and you know, we get better at these each time we do one. Do I go Hawkinson here? I do. So most of the big point tight ends were already off the board. Again, if I'm redoing this, I may have even gone wide receiver there and spent a little more time. We're trying to get these through quick. You know I love Rashad Bateman, though, so bit of a no-brainer there for me. Again, my biggest problem this year is going to be trying to avoid players that were on my championship team because it's hard. You don't want to draft beyond the value. I mean, if you really like a guy, you know he's not going to be there. Yes, take him, but you don't want to play favorites in that sense. So we went with Rodgers here. I would be thrilled with this team sitting at the 5 spot. I don't know how you feel about your snake drafts. I think most people like to be near one end or the other, so that 5 to 8 range tends to be just no man's land for people. A lot of people hate drafting here. I myself am not a big fan, but if you have some members in your league that are a little weaker, you can do a lot of damage from these positions because if they're slipping up, you're getting guys falling to you that really shouldn't be falling. I bet we go Lazard here for the stack. Yep, and I would do that again 9 times out of 10. As long as I have Rodgers on the roster, grabbing Lazard there over Robert Woods, I'm good with that. I think Lazard, someone is gonna have to be the go-to guy in Green Bay. There's just too many catchable balls that are gonna get thrown around. James Robinson. The guy's been coming back as far as rankings. I've seen people get high on him again. I think with the injury and there being some uncertainty as to how soon he'll be ready. Then, of course, Travis Etienne coming. I don't know if you're going to want to take James Robinson high in your draft. He's where I went here. I don't know. I think I might take a longer look at that. Or one of the things I'd be prepped for going forward if I had this spot, I'd be looking at this range here because with James Robinson, that could end up being a great pick for me because I with this roster, I would have the time to wait a few weeks to see what happens with Robinson, but there may have been someone else, maybe Pierce over at Houston, who was still sitting here, who probably now, if we're running these, isn't going to be sitting there anyway. Or shit, maybe a Nyheim Hines. Like, maybe it would have been better off in a PPR league for me to grab Nyheim Hines in that spot, but that could just be the homer and me talking, so clearly I am talking right over our selections of a kicker and a defense. I don't know why in recent years I've gone away from taking kicker and defense with my last 2 picks, and once I see the best defense or the best kicker off the board, that is when I start to make that move. And then you have some kind of flyer here with the Mr. Irrelevant position. I believe I'm probably going to take my backup quarterback this time around, which I bet will be Davis Mills as we look through this. But yeah, there are all kinds of thoughts about this, and you really should look at your league scoring in regards to kickers. See here, I went with Marlon Mack. Oh, I could have had Pierce. Still very high on Marlon Mack, though. That's a guy who the last time he had a full season under his belt was a 1,000-yard rusher. That Colts backfield was just too busy for him. Of course, it looks like he's going to lose this job before he ever got it because of a up-and-coming youngster in Pierce, but I keep an eye out on Marlon Mack. That's all I'm going to say. Maybe avoid him in all drafts right now, but keep an eye on him in your waiver wire. He could be a guy that could help you out in a pinch as a flex or an RB2. So there you have it. Looking at our roster for this 12-team league, I would be feeling pretty good about this. We're definitely going to want to make some trades here, right? We're going to want to shore up our running back positioning. We've got options here with the flex. We're pretty solid at wide receiver, so we may, in this build, you see if Bateman has a big week early or one of these guys, Lazard, maybe we move off of one of them because we have Kupp and Allen, who we know are going to be our 1 and 2 throughout the season. So look for one of these other guys to have a high first week and then just trade them off for a running back that can maybe do a little more than Gibson. But there you have it. Let me know where you landed. If you had one of these other slots, feel free to leave any other comments below and subscribe for more mock drafts, because that's all I'm going to be doing for the next 3 weeks. We have 7 leagues we're in this year. So pray for me, and we'll see you next time.